Welcome back, everyone. This is the 12:30 session. This is going to be the A to Z of affiliate contracts. I'm going to hand you over to Tal Ron, and Maayan and Dina Nir as well. I think Tal's going to kick off. Off you go, Tal.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Stephen Carter, by the way, editor of iGaming Business. A great publication. You can see it here. I think you have a booth here, right? With all this back issues and everything.
Yeah.
Like in ICE and like in all the great gaming shows. And actually, IGB is also partnering with EGL, with European Gaming Lawyer.
We are indeed, yeah.
Right, which is also part in partnership with the IMGL, International Master of Gaming Law, a really nice association of gaming lawyers, which we are part of. So, I'm not used to speaking with a microphone, but because, you know, all it is, you have the time, you can join us. You have the time, by the way, from Casino.
Tal, just very quickly, if anybody's having difficulty hearing, just put on you can pick the headsets up and just hold down the power button on it, and then you'll be able to hear direct from Tal's mic. So
thank you so much.
It'll cut out all the background harm.
Exactly. So guys, I really recommend, because of the acoustics in this place, really use this headset. Last year it wasn't like this. This year something changed. So I really urge you to use these headsets to hear us better or see my lips. So thank you so much. I'll try standing like this. Okay? Do we have a clicker, my friend? Thank you so much. So, with no further delay, because we are just before the lunch, I will tell you what we'll do here today. Today, the A to Z of affiliate contracts, it's me, Tal, and Maayan, my colleague. She's sitting there, and she will join me when we reach her part of the lecture. A bit about us. I'm Tal, and I'm head of Tal Ron Dahem & Co. law firm. We are based in Tel Aviv, and we have representative offices around the world. We do only things that we are getting interested in. So real estate is not our cup of tea, not tort law, ambulance chasing, all of this kind of boring legal work we are not doing. We are more interested in Forex and CFDs. We have been representing some of the more legit binary option brands when there was such industry. I believe that most of you know that this industry is in decline. Many of the people from the binaries are not now entering the crypto, and we all hope that they will do it in a legit way, so the cryptocurrency will not end the way the binary options ended or are about to end. So, with no further delay, we'll start with our first topic, which is a very hot topic if you read the international press. Affiliate liability and broker liability. Everybody thinks that there is a very thin line or between the affiliate liability and the broker liability. If I'm a broker or an operator and I work with an affiliate and my affiliate sends traffic using deceptive advertising, saying that I won $10,000 in trading in Bitcoins while I'm working in McDonald's, and the broker gets that traffic and says, okay, I don't care, I got that lead. Who do you think are liable? Is the broker liable for that? So this question, traditionally, when we were speaking 2 or 3 or 4 years ago, it was quite a clear answer. If I am a broker and I'm getting leads, and I cover myself with an agreement with an affiliate in a proper way, if that affiliate send me that lead with deceptive advertising, and by sending them using as false software, trading software, that actually works and makes you deposit more money and win. If the broker wasn't actively involved in these fraudulent practices, the broker wouldn't care. Because it was considered that it's only the affiliate business. What we can see in the last year, there is a really shift of liability from the affiliates to the brokers. And we see it in the e-commerce side in the United States. We see it in the UK with recent rulings of the GC, of the Gambling Commission, that actually sees the operators, the guys who are running the platforms and running the websites, they see them liable for everything. It's really interesting because it's a complete shift of liability. We all remember 1 year ago there was a guy called M. Fune, and the M. Fune saga. This guy bought his Bentley, coated it in gold, and said, listen, I bought this Bentley from my winning at the binary auction site. Then it was discovered that this guy, it was a fraud, and he just painted it with gold, and it wasn't a real gold Bentley. But that MFune saga brought lots of attention to this advertorials and deceptive advertising. So what we should understand is that there is no clear cut between liability, and if brokers and operators thought that they can get fraudulent stuff from affiliates and get away with it because they're only the brokers or the operators, that is not anymore. We can see that in the United States, we can actually see the FTC actually sees that whether they directly or indirectly use affiliates, if deceptive advertising was used, then they're also liable. We see it in the UK, we see it in the US, and we think that more countries will follow suit. Our next topic is the importance of contracts and good legal setups. We'll here specifically deal, and we want to understand. We would like to make sure that affiliates, when affiliates are sending traffic, they need to provide an affiliate disclaimer on the website. They have to have a compensation disclosure, limitation of liability. They need to make sure that they're working by ethical and legal method. No more these tricks of MFune. No more I got rich quick. No more use this software and get $100,000. It's very much important. This is what our law firm helps. We are working with the affiliates and with brokers in setting up these structures. The buzzword is the GDPR, which will enter here in 2018. Not many people are actually knowing how GDPR is a challenge and an opportunity. The GDPR, the Global Data Protection Regulations, are actually saying that operators can pay 4% fine over the yearly turnover if they do not do it properly. It's amazing because these guys are not nice. The same as they gave a fine, 2.4 billion euros to Google, they can take an operator and give him a fine of 4% of their turnover. It's amazing. GDPR, it's not a very complex issue, but it should be addressed. The Global Data Protection Regulation, you can read about it on the internet. You can also ask us for advice. It's very interesting. So these are the do's, what affiliates should do. Let's see what they do not do. They cannot use copyrights and trademarks. One of the sagas of Skybet, when they stopped working with their affiliates, they said, listen, from this period, you cannot use our name anymore. Now, there are places where affiliates uses names and trademarks and logos of other players in the industry, stakeholders in the industry, using their names to attract by organic marketing and non-organic marketing, and they send them elsewhere. We are now in our office taking care of 3 different cases with infringements of copyrights and trademarks. So it's very much important to make sure that you get the rights to use all your intellectual property in your products. Also, spam. Do not use deceptive advertising. Deceptive advertising is probably very big challenge in the UK, in the US. In the US, people can go to jail on using deceptive advertising. It's not only on gaming, on Forex. Even if you sell diet and you sell pharma and you sell stuff that you say step 1, step 2, step 3, and then suddenly my beard will remove and my stomach will be slim, you know? I'd be happy if it would work on me, but it doesn't work. So this is very important not to use deceptive advertising. This is type of the disclaimer that we created for one of our clients. It's important to understand that there are lots of cut and paste disclaimers. People are opening their websites and they're copying from other websites. Even this is something that is really problem on the intellectual property. We found places where people actually copied our work, and then I got a phone call from a journalist in the UK magazine saying, listen, we saw your name at that website. I hadn't have a clue about that website, where just people cut and paste our terms and conditions and didn't even see that they copied the lawyers' names inside, or the telephone, or interesting stuff. So it's very interesting and very important not to use copied material, but to write really good stuff that is created specifically for you. Our next topic, which was actually a full topic that we were speaking on in not long ago in Bucharest, in the Affiliate Grand Slam, organized by the organizer of Sigma. For the second time, they did something very interesting. They took affiliated, they covered their expenses fully, and they took them first it was to Tallinn, and then they took them now to Bucharest. And the most hot discussion in the crowd was on mergers and acquisition, and that was the session that we did here. The very much important to understand is that lots of operators are coming now with their checkbook open, and they want to buy affiliates. Because of the opportunity, because of the risks now to affiliates, because of the change of the regulation, there are affiliates who are now sold in a very, very, very attractive multipliers. Because there are affiliates that in one day had to fire 20 of their employees because something that happened with Skybet, for instance. And I won't remember that day in September, won't forget the day in September when I was there in my house and I got emails from several clients, all with the same complaint on Skybet. And then in the 10th of September, I met the legal counsel in Copenhagen, in the IMGL conference in Copenhagen. And I met him and said, come on, what did you do? His name is Ben Murphy. He's the general counsel. He's a very nice guy. And they had a decision in one day to cut their affiliate business in one day because they were afraid. They were afraid that the affiliate business will ruin the reputation of a company, big company like Sky Betting and Gambling. So in one day, they sent affiliates home. Now, I'm not criticizing them because I can understand the logic. It's not black or white here. They were very afraid to get more fines by the regulators. And that is very legit. And you can see what happened with 888. 1 month after, 888 got a fine of £8 million. Why? Because these type of issues, they didn't take care of which clients they approached, etc. There are lots of interesting compliance fines and issues that in 5 years, no one ever heard that people will actually get fined by these situations. Now, it became very risky. There is a merger, there is an acquisition, there's also an IPO. We'll discuss all of them. In the past, where we were speaking in Bangkok, in the Affiliate Summit Asia, and in Europe, and then it was called the STM meetup in 2014 in Bangkok, you saw millionaires in pajamas. That's what they call themselves. The affiliates are like one-man shows in pajamas, and some of the millionaires, some not, like one-man operations. Now the buzzword, and we see it in Malta last year in Sigma, lots of affiliates are wanting to be part of a global team, okay? And there's also lots of conversion. You see, you have from Casino Cruise, they have also Casino Cruise and Affiliate Cruise, and they're also looking at actively targeting affiliates and buying. Katina Media has bought Ask Gamblers. We see lots of opportunities where you can see this merger when you have an integration between two and more separate firms, like on a horizontal level, and then you can have an acquisition which is more on the vertical level. That's the vertical, that's the horizontal. Yeah, okay. That's not my mother tongue, so I'm thinking I'm using the correct words. Yes. So the mergers, when you have two similar companies merged together, and you have an acquisition when one buys another. And the idea is to have an advantage. What we'll want to do now is to see how an M&A looks like in practice. And this is very interesting because I'm going to review with you a real document of a real transaction that was completed 4 months ago. And it's very, very funny to see the difference between the process, the document of the due diligence, and the document of the share purchase agreement. One would think that the agreement will be long and the due diligence will be short. You'll see it's exactly the opposite. Look at this. Okay. Now look at this. This interesting schedule from an agreement is called Legal Due Diligence Questionnaire. It's quite small. Let me see. How can I enlarge it a bit? 1 second. We'll see if we can enlarge it a bit. Can you read? What does it say? Or need to? Yeah, a bit to enlarge it. Yeah. Control plus maybe? Ah, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Great. Great. Okay. But how can I do it like this? I'm trying. Okay, let's me, how do it? Okay, now I see, okay. Anyway, this is a legal due diligence questionnaire. We can see private and confidential, prepared on behalf of the investor, okay? In respect of proposed investment agreement in the company. Now you see we have here the corporate, we have here the shares, we have here our comments that we, when we prepared that. Then we have the loan notes. And it's very interesting that there are many ways where you actually represent an investor who's buying an affiliate, and then you see that this affiliate registered as a Maserati on the name of the company, and then he has a loan between himself and the company. There are lots of shady stuff that sometimes you see not only in affiliates, so I don't want to be impolitically correct, but you need to be very cautious when you enter these type of deals. This is how it looks like, this due diligence. Then latest memorandum of articles of association of the company. Sometimes the memorandum of the company has something which is called a poison pill, and it has some kind of very interesting procedures that even after the affiliate sells this company, there are lots of traps, small traps, or even, let's say, Trojan horses left in the documents, and you need to take care that it won't be left in the company. Then you have the financial and the audit. If you have a Seychelles company, normally in Seychelles you do not need to do accounting according to GAAP principles. So still you need to see all these audited accounts, taxation, where are you operated, employees. One of the most sensitive issues is employees, because you can buy an affiliate that's working with a really, really big and does lots of traffic and nice stuff, but the employees do not have any non-compete. And then one day after you buy the company, 30% of the affiliates that work in the company are leaving and working with the largest competitor. So all of this should be covered. It is part of our job when we do this due diligence. Now, sometimes you do not know that, and then there's sometimes litigation afterwards. So this is actual documents that should be settled. Then you have pensions and properties. This is quite rare. You rarely see, except in Malta. In Malta, it's very popular when an affiliate or operator has his own building. But in London, it's quite rare to have their own property. Then you have contracts copies of all the licenses, the customer contracts. You need to add it as an addendum. Intellectual property. Part of the most important is the financial due diligence, because I saw in my life few cases where it looked to me like the records have been, let's say, manipulated. You're saying that you have an FTDs, a certain ratio of FTDs, certain conversion rate, that you're working with regulated markets, and you're working with Asia, where it's more gray markets. It's very important to go on this and not do it in a rush. And when a company like Us Gamblers is purchased by Katina, it's different because they're more like, a news or a portal like this. But if you're working on a pure affiliate, it's much more interesting and much more important to do it. Here is also the legal section, and this is normally the last section. And as you see, it's not very short. It's quite long. What is interesting to see, I would like to show you how the agreement itself, and you'll see that even the agreement itself, it's much shorter. The agreement itself is much shorter than the process of the due diligence, because once the company decide that they want to buy, the process for us is very easy, and for the client is very easy. It's as simple as a handshake. Look at this, share purchase agreement between the Mr. and Mrs. Miss concerning shares in the company. Then you have content. Then you have a share purchase agreement between the seller is a British citizen, the purchaser is a Ukrainian citizen. It's very important. I did lots of deals recently with Ukrainian citizens. Banks not always accept them. They want to check that they're not sitting or residing in the Crimea region, because it's a quite political sensitive area. So, Ukrainian citizens are nice on the technological side, and they're nice to do business with, but lots of KYC problems that I have with specific with Ukrainian resident in the past few months. So you have here the background. Look how simple it is. The seller owned all the issue shares of a company incorporated in Vanuatu. Vanuatu is a very popular place where you register companies for financial services, for financial entertainment services, and You want to sell, look at the most important and the most simple article in this contract. Sale and purchase. Subject to the terms and conditions, the seller sell and the purchaser buy. It's very, very simple. Then you have the purchase price. Sometimes you have a fixed purchase price and then you have an additional purchase price, an earn-out fee. Sometimes you want the shareholder to stay for half a year and get a salary. Very easy. Then you have the representation and warranties. And why is it easy? Because many of these articles were actually covered in the due diligence. Because it wasn't in the due diligence, it means that we don't need to duplicate it here. Then you have the employees, you have representations. You see that the purchaser's representation is not very long. It's much shorter because the purchaser needs to pay, needs to make sure that the bank check will clear and the wire transfer will go and not bounce back. The seller has a bit more. And then part of our favorite sections is the miscellaneous, which we said everything in Hebrew, we say yalla yalla. Everything that doesn't get inside any other section, we throw into the miscellaneous section. Then we have notices and governing law. Okay, so this is how looks the actual way of doing M&A deal and a share purchase agreement. Okay, what I want to show you now, 1 second. How can I swap between this? Not this, not this. Okay, 1 second. Let me see how I'm closing here my stuff. Okay, I want to get you back now into the affiliate contracts. There you go. Okay. How can you go back to the presentation? 1 second. Yeah. That's this will close. We already reviewed that. This also will close. I want the presentation and the last two IOs, exactly. Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. So this is what we did now. Share purchase agreement we reviewed. Again, if you want these documents, send me an email. I will send to you by email and I will review it with you. We don't have much time, so I want to move to our next topics. M&A pitfalls. One size doesn't meet all. We explained what are some of the pitfalls. To our experience, not all of the M&As are successfully on the operation side. Legally, they can be completed, but then it can be a waste of money for both parties, so it's important to see this. IPOs and M&As, Casino Cruise is considering an IPO, Aspire Gaming has already considered an IPO and did it very successfully in the Nordic Nasdaq. So an IPO, an initial public offering, I think it's much more conventional than ICOs. I know it's not very popular to say that, but I believe that not all the ICOs are legit. In our office, we did like 6 ICOs, and now I'm not taking more ICOs to my law firm as well, because really I cannot know if I can trust the guy who's running the ICO. If it's legit stuff, there are some very, very hilarious ideas for ICOs that arrive to our firm. I do not like dealing with stuff that I cannot understand. Our next topic is about insertion orders, and here we actually gave you really practical documents that we actually work with. Let's see, how can I open this one? Okay. How can I open it? Great. I would invite my colleague Maayan to join us, to sit near Mr. Carter. Thank you so much. Thank you. Stay with us. I hope it's an interesting. Okay. By the way, I really suggest and recommend the IGB and the IGB affiliate. Free subscription, you can get it, right? You can get it free to your home, the IGB affiliate and the IGB. Okay. You send it free if people want.
Yep, the magazine's free. You just need to register on IGB affiliate website.
Exactly. So you can even see it, all the digital copies on the website, and you can also get it to your office. You don't even charge for the postage. We get like 4 or 5 copies each month to our office. Let's see this one, okay? That is very interesting. Guys, we took an actual insertion order.
Wait, can I introduce myself?
Of course, sure.
First of all, nice to meet you all. I'm glad to be here. My name is Maayan. I'm head of contract in the firm. I mostly practice affiliate, brokerage, and e-commerce. Now we're going to see some contracts, some example. We don't have a lot of time, so Tal will ask me questions.
No problem. I will continue the introduction. I believe many of the people here know Maayan. Asaf knows Maayan. Yoav knows Maayan. Nir knows Maayan. Maayan has been joining joined our firm 4 years ago from one of the top leading law firms in Tel Aviv. She was dealing there with the payment institutions, and then she crossed to the other side, because we want to deal, with the more interesting stuff. So in our firm, she deals with insertion orders, and we would like now to analyze it step by step how we did it now. Maayan, we hear the publisher information. We have it on the who's on the right hand side.
Well, first of all, it's very important to say that in this specific insertion order and the contract, we represent the supplier, which is the publisher. So I will usually, when my client is a publisher, I receive the contract from the advertiser and I change the contract for the benefit of my client. So now we're going to see. Okay.
Okay. Where is that? Just a second. Okay.
We always start with this one-page insertion order, and afterwards we need to see the terms. Usually very long terms. Oh.
We now feel like Madonna on stage.
And sometimes, as I said, there are some long terms, and sometimes it's a small little sentence, seem innocent, but it's not. This I always govern by the standard IAB. I'm sure you all know it. And this IAB is something that you really need to be careful from. Okay?
Yeah, you see that Maayan had here a comment on the net 60. What is that?
Yeah, usually I just highlight the commercial terms and say, please confirm, please note. The net 60 is a payment term, of course, and in maybe to reduce it to net 30 will be better for my publisher.
So section
Let's move
1
to 5 and 6 maybe?
No problem. You see section 1, the definitions, then we have scope of work, then we have websites, and then section 5.
As you can see, many changes are made in this contract. Well, the payment term is the most important one. Is the one that I need 20 eyes to look at the agreement 20 times. So in 5.3, we'll see that it's hidden inside a very sophisticated word. But what it means that it's back-to-back. Some of you know the term back-to-back? Of course you do. Back-to-back means that the advertiser, usually as an agent, have the right to withhold payment from the entire campaign if its advertiser doesn't pay him, so he doesn't pay my client, the publisher. This is back-to-back. So I deleted the whole section, and what I add is the one highlighted in yellow, which means that in no way the advertiser have the right to withhold any payment. Okay? And it's very, very important. The next section is number 6, dealing with fraud. This is a very, very, very important one, and we're dealing with a lot of cases lately in our firm. This means that any fraudulent traffic of the advertiser, it has the right to withhold payment. It's very similar to back-to-back, but it's different. So what I'm adding and highlighted in yellow here is that if you want to withhold payments, okay, no problem, but you have to provide a sufficient proof from a third-party fraud detection company, approved by the publisher, of course.
Like forensic, like
forensic, it all says in here. IAC, yeah.
Very nice. Look at this. It's amazing that people sometimes do not actually notice the sections that Maayan now spoke about. The idea of collection and back-to-back, that sometimes just people sign. They do not understand that sometimes the payment is only if the third party pays. And the other cases where you actually want that in the commercial deal. Then you have section 7 of representations, you have non-solicitation. Non-solicitation means that, can you please explain maybe on, it's interesting, non-solicitation.
Well, basically that the other party can't really solicitate with any advertisers or publishers of the other party without any, maybe period approved from the advertiser.
Yeah, it's very interesting because sometimes they say, no, but I knew that guy before. And then you have like a war who is actually knowing before, and it's interesting. What about section 11? General normally will change. What do you do in general?
This is the jurisdiction.
Okay.
The
what do you do?
jurisdiction, usually we try to change it to arbitration instead of a regular court because, as you know, affiliate, advertiser, publisher, we work worldwide. And sometimes when we have an issue with, like a legal issue, it's very difficult to ask the money, to go to court in another country. So arbitration is very cheap. It's cheaper because it doesn't take a long time and you can obtain it in many countries.
Yeah, except if it's in Switzerland. Sometimes I went to arbitration in Switzerland. It was hilariously expensive. I couldn't believe it, you know. But like if you go on a good way, arbitration in, let's say, in Hong Kong, if it's like with an Asian operator in English language, there are some arbitrators that can close a $15 million issue in three or four meetings in the Upper House Hotel, and that's it. You close it. Very interesting, and that's in 99%. Maayan, we prefer arbitration.
Of course, 100% of the time.
100%.
Arbitration.
It's funny, like normal lawyers normally say, okay, let's go to court, let's go, you know, we can charge by the hour, and at the end of the day, because we are
if I'm providing the contract, I will write whatever comfortable for me. But if I receive a contract from the other side, I prefer to change it to arbitration for my clients to have a comfortable process.
By the way, you can do arbitration, by the way, even without a lawyer. So it's very, very much more cheaper and practical to do an arbitration and not a litigation clause or issues like that. Then we have a broker insertion order, okay, which is different actually. It's very different than the previous agreement. That's the last agreement that we'll review today, and then we'll release you to lunch. We're a bit behind time, but I see that you're enjoying and most people are still here, so we will pamper you with this contract as well, because there are lots of practical tips here. Okay, so here we go. 1 second. How can we swap to, I'll try it myself. Let's see if it works. No, it doesn't work. We need a BAC form. Thank you so much. Yeah, open the back4.pdf, and that will be our effort. This we can leave here. And thank you for your patience. We're trying to do it interesting as possible. And now we'll actually open an agreement.
We're going to make it short, okay? This agreement basically is an agreement between a broker and an advertiser. And the most important thing about this agreement is the penalty clauses and terms that we have inside hidden in a very, very sophisticated way. And it's really important because I don't think that my client basically gave me the agreement and said, well, it looks okay to me. I think I can sign. And I told him, no, please wait a couple of days. I'm going to review it and then you're gonna sign it. And I want to show you the amount of correction amendments I made in this agreement.
Exactly. And it's also interesting that even people, when they take this agreement, they see normally definitions. Definition, who touches the definitions?
It's
normally,
very generic.
Very generic.
Yeah.
Normally people see the definitions, they write page down and skip.
And look what we found in the definition.
First of all, you can see CPA, CPL, this is all obvious, but let's go to the net revenue. What do you do?
Yeah, well, it's part of the definition. Where, like Tal said, it's very generic, so people keep on moving to the payment terms, for example. But here you see the net revenue, the definition, and we deleted the whole end section because what it means that it concludes all this kind of subsidiary companies and all sorts of things that basically reduce the revenue for my clients. So I took it off.
Amazing.
Okay?
Look at the trap. Look at the trap.
Highly important.
Inside the definition. Looks innocent, and inside something which is not related to the definition at all. What section do you want me to jump to? This one?
Look at this one.
Yeah.
This is one example.
It starts here.
No. Okay, this is one example. I have 4 of those hidden inside the contract. This is one example of a penalty that we deleted, of course, for my client. Okay, you can see a breach of this agreement will.
Okay, what about this section here? And the CPA and the CPL or the calculation? You can see it here, about the terms. The client.
This is an example for the right of the other party to change and amend the contract, the terms of the contract. And why is it so important? Because if we leave it as is, the other party can basically change the payment terms, the percentage, the commissions, whatever. And this is very important to change because we want control over the terms of our agreement. If we sign an agreement, we want control over it.
Exactly.
So the first option is the first option is the most recommended one. Unfortunately, the other party didn't accept it, so I changed it to the option number 2, which is also good, but not as good as option 1. Okay.
So actually, if I understand correctly, Maayan, you
First of all, I
one.
inserted option 1.
I see.
He didn't accept it. We have a negotiation between the parties. We can
Okay.
accept everything.
So that's part of the dialogue with the council of
Yeah.
the other party. Okay, nice. And then you have
Also, look at this, 3%. Okay,
3% interest.
monthly interest, 3% high,
illegal.
very high, very
illegal
high.
in many countries, 3%. What about here?
Also, 100,000 US dollars penalty. You see, look how penalty terms inside, and my client wanted to sign it.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, it is.
Okay, section 9.4. Is it the typo that it's all in capitals?
What? No, it's not. Usually, when there's let's say limitation of liability or indemnification, it's usually those kind of letters.
It looks like someone is shouting. Is
Yeah.
pressing the caps lock or the shift and writing everything in caps lock. What about 9.5? Why did it change, Nancy?
No, that's it. I think that we went through. There's a lot of other issues, but those are the most important ones.
Nice, nice. I see. Okay, Maayan changed it to be mutual.
Also, do you see the arbitration at the end of the agreement if you want to show them?
Yeah, where's the arbitration? Do we have it?
And the end of the agreement.
Okay, this is part of my favorite. Show them
Oh,
10.
cancellation fee. Yeah, you want to explain about that?
Yeah, this is a very, very nice one. Look at this. If you do not see it in live, you can find yourself with a 100% cancellation fee and 100% full prepayment on everything for your lifetime. So look at this. So of course, here we're representing the broker, the client, the operator. So it's very much important to understand, to see it in the document themselves and not sign as is. It's very important. You know, like people, again, I'm giving Yoav. Yoav has a very nice CFO, Alex, living in Malta for Casino Cruise, and every small contract or large contract with a PSP, with an affiliate, with everything, an NDA, everything is sent through our team.
Exactly. We show you 2 small agreements, but those agreements, the agreements you sign over are all similar. So if you want our help, you want to obtain legal advice, we will be happy to help you. And thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, guys. And thank you, Maayan. Thank you, Maayan. One second, guys. Before you go, it's very important. Do everything legally. You know, in this industry, gaming, binary, forex, it's very tempting. There's lots of money. And it's very important to slow down, to work decent. If you're an affiliate, use good marketing purposes and doing good marketing practices. If you're an operator, pay your clients, pay your winnings, get good legal advice, work with good platforms and decent people. And I believe that, you know, the sky will be the limit for all of us. Thank you so much. Come free to visit booth number F5. We're near our friends from Panda. You can see here Maor and Samantha from Panda. And come visit and bon appetit. Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Okay. Right, we've got a network here. We've got the lunch break till 2 o'clock. So I'll see you all back here for the World Cup panel at 2 o'clock. Thank you.